Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
Lovely to see you again. So today we're going to talk a little bit about another perfume in our odyssey of the Art and Olfaction finalists. Have we done one or two so far? I can't remember.
We've done one independent, one artisan.
So this is great. So we're on the third. What do we have today?
So this is another one nominated in the independent category. This is Saskia from Grandiflora. This is a fragrance by Christophe Lodemieux with Hugo Caron as well. And the creative director is Saskia Havikes of Grandiflora. So is a sort of, I understand it, it's an iconic florist in Melbourne. So
I'd like to visit there if I ever go to Melbourne.
Well, yeah, we just watched a little clip, a little video of her from her shop, and so this fragrance. So this is a florist which already has released several fragrances.
That's exciting, isn't it? It's quite rare.
Yeah, I mean,
probably very rare. I can't think of florists.
Quite rare and quite a kind of quite a challenge, really, because flowers smell brilliant.
Yeah. How do you recreate that?
Exactly. They have 6 fragrances, including the first one was from 2013 by Michel Rudniska.
Master.
And they've also Bertrand Duchefort has done fragrance. So, these are pretty...
This is high-powered stuff,
and now Christophe Lodemieux. So that we're talking really serious big hitters in the perfume. Went a bit Australian there for a moment. In the perfume world. So this is a 2020 release. We've been trying several fragrances that have been nominated for Art and Olfaction Awards. I was saying that it gets quite expensive because a lot of them we couldn't order samples in this country, so we'd have to order them from abroad. This is $165 US for 50 ml EDP. I was trying to track down a sample, but what I ended up getting was an almost full bottle.
Great work.
For £35.
Amazing.
So I got this on eBay. I don't know if you can say the label almost fell off. So
that's quite stressful, isn't it?
It is quite stressful. It kind of, you can see I basically super glued it back on, which was quite stressful and really exacerbated my OCD.
Because otherwise you'll just think that someone's taken your Acqua di Parma Essenza and stretched it.
It is a very...
you don't want that to happen.
A similar bottle. So I've ended up for £35. And I paid that for samples for something else. So here we go. So I have had this for a few weeks, almost months now actually. So I've worn this and tested it quite a bit. Joe actually has had a little bit of a sniff.
I had a sniff a few weeks back, didn't I? Not a lot. This is going to be much better.
But you're still pretty much going to get his first impression. So as we said, this is the efforts to capture. It says the intention was to create the literal and spiritual essence of a tiny room where for a quarter of a century flowers and things that grow have been worked.
Very lovely.
I really think it does. It's quite a breathtaking first smell. Yeah. Very, very happy making. And what I love about it is...
Very beautiful.
Yes, of course it's floral, but it's not just floral, I don't think. There's
something already creeping out there.
I get a slight plasticiness. And it made me think when I wore it. I think of a couple of things. I imagine kind of plastic green kind of buckets where flowers have been put in, and I also imagine the kind of cellophane-y kind of wrapping you sometimes get to a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, all the appendages not appendages, is that the right word? All the accessories that go with that. I get a lovely kind of melony, bubblegummy, tuberosy thing as well. Of course the florals are in there, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, there is a definite, almost kind of edible kind of chewiness. This teeters on the edge of white floral without going full white floral.
Yeah.
So I think gardenia is kind of one of their most prominent notes, and gardenia can sometimes be a bit. I think it's related to jasmine, and it can go in that direction. But it never goes full-on chewy, big white floral. I get quite a lot of green notes.
It's very green, I think, and kind of slightly funky as well. Just little hints of tiny little background funk from something.
I think yes, and I think actually the funk increases. This never goes.
Is there ambergris in here?
I don't think there is. I think he lists some immortelle, and I think I get that slightly kind of curry quality. Maybe there is ambergris, I'm not sure.
I kind of sense the presence of it, but maybe it's not there. But that's slightly
salty,
salty, animalic.
I definitely get
fattiness.
I get a wetness, and I keep coming back to the idea of these wet plastic buckets, these wet green vines.
Yeah, it's like zoologist in the sense that it's not so much the animal, but the environment of the animal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The environment of the flowers and everything that goes with it.
And I can slightly get this impression of also kind of a wet concrete floor as well.
Yeah, after it's rained and but a hot day after a quick shower.
Yeah.
So everything is quite pungent.
Or even like the water spilled out of those buckets.
That's really good, actually.
I get lots of green stems. As I say, it would have been so obvious to have this just to been just about flowers, as in just about the petals.
Yeah.
And just breathe this kind of big bouquet, and obviously that's been done a lot. I've written in my notes of when I tried this the kind of second or third time, I got a little bit of violet leaf as well, and with that I sometimes get a slight cucumberiness. You get a little hint of cucumber.
I remember a similar thing happening in London by Gallivant, where that leather is met by this slight smoky rose thing, but there's a cucumber. I think there's a violet in there or something, but there's a cucumbery aspect. I'm really getting something a little bit animalic and
well, I think there's a bit of indolic funk, and the other image I got was
musky.
Is almost, if you'd been handling plants all day, and then maybe at the end of the day you've got that kind of polleny, indolic-y stickiness on your hands, which doesn't necessarily smell floral, but it's got that kind of like funky indolic,
and coupled with the smell of your skin on your sweaty skin.
Exactly. You've been in this hot room, maybe it's a sort of greenhousey place. I found it really interesting to wear, quite kind of shape shifting. I couldn't quite pin it down. It felt quite different every time I wore it, and I wore it on really hot days. I really got even more of that fresh, wet greenness.
Yeah,
I felt it felt like being splashed with water, and I got this green plastickiness. Whereas actually, interestingly, on the cooler days, I was more aware of the florals opening up the bouquet.
Yeah.
But then, as you said, at the end of it, I get this slightly funky. I think there's some. I think it lists immortelle, but this slightly animalic, indolic, funky hum.
It's just right. It's just right in the middle of it. They're purring away gently. I get the plastickiness more and more actually. Something not of earth and not of nature.
Yeah.
Although plastic is of nature, but something in an artificial environment. But really, really pretty. I find that really pretty, and it's not quite in the white floral dominance, is it? It's sort of just teetering, like you said.
I think it is pretty without being, and it's not just a pretty floral. I think it's there's more going on than that.
Yeah.
Tough. I think it was in a way a tough brief. I think to
it's very hard.
You're
asking to do better than nature, aren't you?
Exactly.
In terms
but we were, we discussed in our kind of introductory video to this. I wonder the judges who picked the finalists. Wonder whether they got the brief. If they just thought, if they smell this on their own and go, oh well, there's nice green notes, nice floral notes, or if they actually have that story already planted in their mind. It would be
interesting to know. I mean, I guess it can't hurt to have the brief, can it?
Yeah.
In terms of knowing who it is, unless, like you say, with zoologist. You made a good point earlier that would be really obvious. I'm trying to mimic the smell of a dragon's lair or whatever. Or maybe not a dragon, a real animal.
But the judges would guess that it was probably zoologist if they said it's the honey badgers.
And you can't do it for some and not for others. So maybe they don't get the brief at all. But it's really well put together as well, isn't it? It's very smooth. It's very it's kind of very logical in the way it's progressing. Even on paper, I imagine on skin it would be even more pronounced.
And I just like the fact that we think of it's kind of that conversation between natural and synthetic materials, that he's trying to not just create this directly mimic mimic, flowers. So just putting a Gardenia Absolute in. He's trying to give the impression of the flower in the space.
Yeah.
Which maybe there's no Gardenia Absolute at all in it. He's used other things to give us that suggestion. And I think that's, where, it's great to smell like great materials, skill, but for a real master perfumer to plant images.
Yeah. To take it above the actual materials and go for something that adds up to a bigger story or a bigger picture or an image. That's a real skill. I'm getting more of the sort of Immortelle sort of spice lurking
there is a fair bit of. It never becomes dirty, but that's definitely lurking there, and it's. Wonder if it's the sweat of working the whole day in the shop.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm quite pleased that I've ended up buying kind of 50ml bottle of this. I can see myself getting through a lot of it. Not just in the summer, I can really see it as a pick-me-up.
Yeah,
in the cooler months as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Or a really cold spring day where it's nice and bright.
It's a really,
it's
a real springy quality there as well. If you look for it.
Yeah, I love that.
So there we go, Saskia.
Another great contender, I think, for the finals.
Be interesting to see.
Best of luck.
What other people think? If you've tried it, let us know. If you've tried any others from the house as well. Yeah. Let us know. Be interesting to hear. But until next time,
bye.
Happy sniffing.